What's up, folks? Hey, I don't got a super big audience on here, bro. So I'ma just speak my heart, man. But listen, I've been hearing a lot about the Remy and Papoose situation, and due to certain events in my own life, I feel the need to speak on it. Here's the problem. I just dropped an EP called Beautiful Disaster. And that is very incumbent of what I feel the description of a woman is. I feel like most women are a beautiful disaster. I feel like who knows what Pat was doing in the background, right? Who knows what Pat was doing to make Remy slide like that after all this time? Because the average person would think, if this dude to come down here every single day to come make sure I'm good, to come show love or whatever the case might be, he's solid, he got me. Who knows what was going on in the background to cause Remy to be able to slide, right? That's giving her the benefit of the doubt. Let's take it one further. I be feeling like sometimes it get wishy-washy. And a lot of times, women try to burn the whole house down because you stub your toe in the bathroom. So, instead of me fixing whatever I stubbed my toe on, I'm gonna burn this whole house down. How about that? Stupid house. Burn. Right? And then smile while the house is burning. Even though this is a house that you've helped build at the same time. It's wild. That's wild. It doesn't matter what, to me, I feel like it doesn't matter what the desire is. I feel like it should have been a lot, it requires a lot more. And in the situation, or what's the word I'm looking for? A lot more sensibility and sensitivity to be shown toward the situation, given the loyalty that was shown, right? So, if you got somebody who will sit with you and help you build something, who will help you become what you're destined to be, isn't there some type of respect that's supposed to go along with the fact that this person that you're dealing with has helped you manifest all your desires and the things that you wanted for yourself? I can see if you just blaze the trail by yourself to get there. But given the fact that you didn't, I feel like there should be more respect that goes along with it. Period. It should be done more tastefully so that you don't destroy somebody else's brand and your brand doesn't get destroyed at the same time. It should be and even for just a regular, average, everyday person, it should be more, well, be in a relationship with somebody 20 years. And it might not be perfect, but this man or woman's coming home every day respectfully, helping keeping up the bills and helping keeping things rolling smoothly, getting up and being about something, having dreams and aspirations, encouraging, helping to keep the mechanisms greased that help the machine turn and continue to move forward. And then boom, after 20 years, boom. You know what? I'm just bored. Or, you're not catering to my emotions. Or a dude might say, oh, you never initiate intimacy or whatever the case might be. I heard somebody say on this app that if people started looking at relationships like they look at business, it would probably move a lot smoother. Burger King is not going to close down just because they introduce a burger that don't work. They're going to go back to the drawing board and try to figure out what made this burger not work. Is it our competition having a burger that's better that might be the same idea? Why did this certain spicy chicken, it might be a cheese-filled chicken sandwich. Why this cheese-filled chicken sandwich ain't work? What's causing it not to work? Is there something that we could do to alter this burger to where it'll be received well? Is it a certain ingredient that's going into this burger that's not to be received well? What is it that's causing this situation with this burger to not be successful, right? Because you're financially invested. You might have been already spent, you might have already gave a marketing company or signed a contract with a certain marketing company to do your marketing for XYZ amount of dollars. And just because your first month sales projected bad, that's a breach of contract. You say, I want to sign for 6 months for this marketing for XYZ. And then you just call out of nowhere, oh, the 1 month order is in, the 1 month, what's the name for this burger is in, and so I don't want it. We don't need your marketing no more because we tried this burger and it didn't work. That's not good business. And a lot of people look at their relationships in the same regard. Just because, I have a successful and thriving relationship, but because I don't like the intimacy or whatever the case might be. Oh, you don't bring me flowers. And Joe Schmo's probably gonna bring me flowers. I see this person on Instagram, and she's getting what she desires or whatever the case might be. You get these batteries put in your back to throw away something that is pushing you along. It's crazy. It is crazy. Now, a lot of times, like I said about Remy and Papoose, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes, so you might jump to a conclusion. And Remy looks super bad for what she's doing right now. Now, if Remy is just holding it down that much to where even though she's dang near being crucified in the press about what she's done with Papoose, if she's just holding it down that much to where she's just deciding not to air him out in front of everybody in the midst of everything, all the flack that she's getting, that's solid. That's solid. That is solid. Because who knows what Papoose did to lead her to say, I don't want to deal with him no more. I want to throw all these years away. Hey. Now, if you do get a house, because I gave the analogy about stubbing your toe in the bathroom and then burning the house down. So let's say you got like black mold in the walls or something crazy like that, and then you stub your toe. That's different. That's different. The plumbing's messed up. The electric is falling apart all in your house. You're going to have to go back to the drawing board. But if it's just a matter of finding a better way to have peace or whatever the case might be, and you just up and decide to throw your entire situation away, or a goofy. You're a goofy. You're a goofy. And that's probably why 50% of marriages fail, 60% of second-time marriages fail, 70% of third-time marriages fail, and you could probably use your own brain to put together the statistics for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th time marriages, or whatever the case might be. There's clearly something that our predecessors, there's clearly something that they understood that we no longer understand about marriage. Maybe it's more than just Instagram posts. Maybe it's more than you getting the feels every day. Maybe it's a deeper understanding that this is my person. Good, bad, treacherous. As long as it's not, the normal deal breakers, but having an understanding that I devoted myself to this person. And really believing the vows that you say, not just being addicted to a relationship, but really understanding that I'm marrying myself to this person. That's a commitment you make on the inside of you. So I don't know what Pap did. I don't know what the understanding was with him and Remy Ma. I don't. I just know that I put out a project called The Beautiful Disaster, and that it's just as much of an oxymoron as Remy and Papoose relationship. But I don't feel like people could look at Remy and Papoose relationship with with disdain too much, because you got to look into your own life and the toxic relationships that you've been in. There's a lot of women who've been in relationships where people will sit back and be like, why are you still with this dude? Why are you still with this dude? And then there's a lot of relationships where girls will get out of the relationship and people will be like, well, why didn't you stay with that guy? He was good for you. We liked him. The problem is nobody sees behind the curtain. Nobody sees behind the curtain. So that's my disclaimer to giving Remy Ma the benefit of the doubt, because like I said, you don't know what's going on behind the veil to know why Remy Ma would decide after, I think, 16 years to just up and to get with a new dude. She doesn't know nothing about this guy, don't know how he gets when he's super angry, don't know how he gets with, she don't, and who knows, they might not even be like, who knows what it is, it could be a play, who knows. But I'm just speaking to the obvious, right? Obviously he held her down, obviously she wouldn't be Remy Ma without Papoose being Papoose. That's a definite, obviously. And that's another thing, like, I don't know, I have mixed feelings about it, because I feel like just off the strength alone of him holding her down like that, I think, would she have come home to the same, you know, without Papoose being there? Because I feel like part of the hype of Remy Ma is how solid Papoose was. So that means that he's built her whole entire image, her whole entire brand was like black love. So can you really, would her return back to hip hop been as effective if Papoose didn't hold her down as long? I feel like half the hype of Remy Ma was the fact that Papoose was as solid as he was to her while she was locked down. Which, would her presence have the same effect if it wasn't Remy and Pap? That's like Beyonce and Jay-Z. Half of the hype of Beyonce is Jay-Z. You can say what you want, but that's half the hype. Beyonce and Jay-Z, Bonnie and Clyde type of situation. So like, you get with somebody and they build you to this point, or they stick with you until you could build yourself to this point, and then you get to a point where you feel like you could put the finger that's not index finger in their face. That's crazy. That's crazy. Maybe it's just the world we live in. Maybe it's just the world we live in that tells women that, like, you're only supposed to experience comfort, and that you're not supposed to experience anything else besides comfort. So anything else besides comfort is wrong. That's not true. You're supposed to experience compromise. I think there have to be a reestablishing of what marriage means. What even a basic relationship between man and woman is supposed to mean, and what's supposed to come from that. I feel like there has to be an organization of people's thoughts to explain that. Because if not, you'll just keep having the marriage statistics that you have. Because nobody's going to feel like they're getting their just due. If you're a modern woman feeling like you're supposed to be living in modernity and I could do this if I want, and I could do that if I want. Yeah, you can do that if you want. Outside of a marriage, there's supposed to be compromise, period. And I feel like that's just the attitude of the day. That's just a common occurrence and a common feeling of the day is that. And I'm speaking into the whole title of my last project and why I made my project called Beautiful Disaster. Because you don't look at a disaster as something beautiful until you look at the spiral of a tornado, until you look at how high a tsunami wall is. When you see it in a video, it's like you're in awe. It's like, whoa, it's not that it's beautiful. Well, it's not destruction is beautiful. It's that what you're looking at is so monumental that you're just like, whoa. And that's what it feels like to look at a woman. Even though you know the destruction that a woman can cause you, especially if you know the type of woman that you're chasing, and you still decide to pursue her. It's like, whoa, she looks like she's gonna ruin my credit, and you know what? She's amazing. That's why they're storm hunters, because those tornado hunters, they love that spiral of that tornado, especially when it hits the ground. It does something to them. It's just the admiration you have for nature. And that's the effect that women have on us men. Like, even when she's toxic, I feel like, even when a woman is toxic, you can look and you feel like, I know she's toxic. I know she's probably going to destroy my life, but she's just so beautiful. She's just a force of nature. The same way that you would look at a hurricane or a tsunami or tornado, or staring into the darkness of the ocean at nighttime from the shores of the beach. I feel like you know that if you got stuck way out there, if you're standing and looking at the line of water from the shores of the beach, you know if you got stuck there in a boat and no power on your boat, you'd be terrified. You would be terrified in the middle of the ocean, inside of some little rinky-dink boat without no lights. It would just be sheer darkness. You fall into the water, you toast. But something inside of you goes, that is beautiful. That's the same way I feel like. That's the effect that women have on us men. Because we look at you like, dang, she's like, even though she's bad like that, she look like she got an attitude. And if I ask her such and such and she respond like that, I know I'm gonna respond in an egregious manner. But she's so captivating, and just, I don't know, it's something about the way her baby hairs lay down. I don't know, it's something about, it's something about the way that she speaks to me when she's being kind and she's in her feminine, her divine feminine. What's called correct. 100, almost 200 miles an hour, you're toast, because the slightest bump, the slightest alteration in the smoothness of the road, the slightest turn is going to throw you off. But it's the same thing with a woman, though. You go too fast with a woman, it's over with. All it takes is one bump, all it takes is one turn, all it takes is you saying the wrong thing at the wrong time, and if she don't have her situation intact, if you don't have your situation intact, then it's gonna be all bad. But I personally feel like there used to be an understanding between men and women. That's why grandma and grandpa could stay together for 50 years. That's why they could stay together for 50 years, because they had an understanding that this ain't just about me looking at you and seeing you the most handsome dude in the world, and or this ain't about looking and seeing you the most beautiful woman in the world. It's about having an understanding with each other. You are my person, and I got you. Now, as long as you don't go wilding and doing too much, where you put somebody's livelihood in jeopardy or life in jeopardy, and even sometimes then they'll still rock out. I know my grandmother stayed with my grandfather 50 years. 50 years they stayed together. He passed in 2018. She said she's not getting with nobody else. It's just her and Jesus until they meet again. That's a fact. So, like, what is so different now? Like, what happened? What happened? It's hard to stay with a woman for 6 months, let alone 50 years. What changed in the play to where now all of a sudden you can't expect? It's almost where you go into a relationship and you're not even expecting too much out of it. It's like, dang, she bad. If the top good, cool. If dang, like, man, if I don't got money, then I ain't gonna be able to get if I don't got this, and like, what changed, bro? And this is an honest question. What changed where you can't look at like a Will and Jada and go goals? Or where you can't look at Rim and Pap, or, you know what I'm saying? Like, even Beyonce and Jay-Z had the little situation in the elevator. And it's almost like the media couldn't wait to throw that up. Especially black media. They couldn't wait to throw that up. Oh, Trouble in Paradise. Like, what's the deal with that? What's the deal with that? Maybe it's the elders. Maybe we don't have elders that we could go and sit down as like we used to, where if a woman was wilding in public on her dude, another older woman is come up and be like, don't do that. Don't do that. And really talk to her in a way where she allow her to actually open her heart to listen. Now it's like, mind your business, old lady, wooty wham. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm really honestly trying to figure that out. Even for my own little situation, I'm trying to figure it out. Because I get to that point with my lady too. It's like, yo, how do you even have the junction to talk to me like that? Here's the thing, I say this all the time. It's like a lot of times I feel like men have this one issue, right? Because when a woman starts talking crazy to you, right, and going ham on you and talking like she could punch you in the esophagus and you will fall, right? You feel like, dang, like I'm supposed to protect you against this type of aggression. I'm supposed to be the one that when something else in our environment presents itself the same way that you're presenting yourself to me right now, I'm supposed to protect you from that. And I'm supposed to get in my masculine and handle business. But the problem is, if I'm looking at your pretty face, but aggression is coming out of it, it's like my brain is in overload because I know what I'm supposed to do, but I also know what I'm not supposed to do because you're a woman. But you're presenting yourself like you could knock me out. And I know if we was inside of a back alley and some dude came up talking like that and I ran behind you or I didn't do nothing, you'd be on the phone with your homegirls. You'd be, oh, this nigga's a weenie. Oh, this dude was talking crazy to him and he didn't say nothing. He little boyed you. Don't. And then when you get home, every other conversation is gonna be this. Don't be talking to me like that. You should have talked to that dude in the alley like that. That'll be every single conflict after this one time that you turn down the fade. That's what it's gonna be from now on. From now on, every single time you guys have an altercation, don't try to talk crazy to me. You should have talked crazy to the dude at the taco shop who took the burrito from you and called you a chump. That's what you should have did. So it's like, what are you supposed to do? How are you supposed to act? If you're presenting yourself aggressive to me, how am I supposed to act? I'm supposed to let you chump me? Then how is that me actually being who I'm supposed to be? God put me in his body. He put me in this avatar, right? So if I'm supposed to be a man and protect you and provide for you, then what are you supposed to be? What are you supposed to be? What is your job? Or do you not have one? You just supposed to run around doing what you want to do, wreaking havoc. That's crazy. I will have so many questions for Remy. Like I will have so many questions. And you know what? It might be a couple answers that would just clarify the whole thing. And it probably is. So like I said, if Remy is just at the point where she like, listen, I don't got nothing to prove to nobody. Me and Pap know what happened. We're going to hold it down. We're going to let people come to whatever understanding that they want to come to. And we're just going to continue collecting these bags and letting people run our bag. Hey, I feel it. That's smart. It's an intelligent business move. But if that's not the case and she just decided, you know what, I'm bored or whatever the case might be, excuse me, that's super weird. That's super weird. And the whole narrative is changing. The whole narrative is changing. No disrespect to the sexy red chick, but that's crazy. Lipstick called gonorrhea is crazy. That's crazy. That is crazy. Celebrating gonorrhea is crazy. Putting anything called gonorrhea on your lips is crazy. It's crazy. I'm sorry. It's crazy. And if you look at the demographic of who's really listening to her music, it becomes even crazier. It's a banana republic. The whole thing is a banana republic. The whole thing is yeah, exactly. Go look it up. I'm not capping, I promise you. She was in the interview talking about it. Facts. She was in the interview talking about that. She was like, yeah, people think it's crazy, but somebody told me I'm a marketing genius. I need to know who that is. I want to buy them roof, Chris, so we could talk. Who told you that? That's crazy. But just like Cardi B wouldn't let her own daughter listen to her music. Why are you, and listen, I gotta look, Hassan Campbell be saying all of this stuff. But why would you project this image out to the rest of the population, but your kids can't? Your kids can't. Would she let her own daughter wear something called gonorrhea? How is this even cool? I was watching the Math Hoffa podcast today, and he had Ed Lover on there, and they were talking about like the inception of hip hop and just how it became like a global phenomenon, like how it came to be where it's at now. And just listening to him, I'm like, dang, how did it get from that to this? Like, how has it come to this point to where the gatekeepers of hip hop are like deciding that a sexy red is better than a Rhapsody. How did it get to that point? And how is nobody invested in changing it? And so when you look, I feel like when you look at the relationship between men and women, right, especially in our community, right, but I feel like this is not just marginalized to black and white no more, period. It's not marginalized to black and white no more. I'm just being honest with you. This is America. I think it's a worldwide phenomenon, right? With the change of the social expectation and just the expectation of women interacting with a man. Like, I feel like even vice versa, I can't let dudes off the hook neither. Even vice versa, it's just a lot of stuff has changed, bro. Like, and it's the weirdest thing to me. I don't know. I'll be sitting back and I don't never go live, bro. And I don't never go live. But I had a little situation myself that made me just sit back and be like, dang, bro, like, yo, is this real? Is this real life? Is this what is okay? This is the new standard? Is this the new standard? I know several relationships like that I've seen that they was rocking with each other tough. And then it falls apart. It just falls apart. And it makes me like wonder, like, dang, like, you don't see no value in that person no more. Charleston White said, love is not about what you can give, but how much you can take. And maybe he was right. Like, maybe that's why a lot of our grandparents' relationships last and they held true to their vows, and until death did they part. Like, maybe one of them stayed alive or whatever, and some of them get remarried or whatever. So, but I'm just saying, the fact of staying with somebody until they die is crazy. That takes a lot of dedication. The eyes might wander, the heart might grow frail at times. It may feel like the love's, but the ones who have been privileged to have, grandparents that they see stay together, it makes you stop and be like, now that you're older and you done dealt with whoever and dealt with all the toxicness or whatever. Now, granted, they didn't have social media. It might be a completely different story if Paw was liking Marjorie Ann's pictures on. It might have been different. Who knows? It might have been way different. I'm gonna tell you that right now. It might have been different. But I'm sure there was stuff in the 50s and 60s that could have caused relationships to not be as successful as they were. I just feel like I'm almost positive that the marriage statistics were a lot different than they are now. I'm almost positive about that. And it's just the whole attitude. I feel like the whole attitude toward marriage now is different. The entire attitude. You could find a million podcasts on YouTube right now with women sitting there and they're 75% plastic, 25% woman, and they're talking about what a man needs to be. But it's like, let the roles reverse and then it's a problem. Like, that is utter madness. I don't know. It's confusing. It's very much so confusing. It makes you really feel like, what direction should I go into if I want to be what's called, quote unquote, like a stand-up dude to a woman? And is there a woman to be a stand-up dude too, right? It makes you feel like that. Because what? Like, you invest yourself in this relationship trying to be a stand-up dude just for her to tell you you're not enough. And it's okay that you're not enough to me because I have standards and all this other good stuff. And I get it, right? You don't want to just settle. I get it. You get your worth. But it's like, it's unrealistic. Only on one side is it unrealistic. On the other side, it's okay for you to go get a BBL. It's okay for you to go get this done and get that done and all this other stuff. And it's okay for you to not have no real life applicable, benefits. You don't know how to sew a shirt. If you didn't went and bought you some good jeans, you don't know how to sew. You can't sew my jeans when they rip. If I'm wearing purple jeans, or if I'm wearing Colt jeans, you can't sew my jeans back, or whatever. You don't know how to do none of these things. You don't know how to be a seamstress. You don't know how to cook. You want me to buy you takeout every night, or you can cook, you just don't feel like it, or you know what I'm saying, you don't want to wash no clothes, you don't want to do nothing. What is it? What is the benefit? What is the benefit? I'll be a real skeptic about dudes who always be around other dudes. But I'm starting to see why. Because when they go home, they just around another dude anyway. So what is the problem with them going and hanging out with the homies? Because they get home and they girls is the same like the homie. It's just the same thing. It's like, what do you do that separates you from the homies? That's, you know, nothing. You get aggressive with me, it's the same thing. It's no difference. It's the same thing. It's supposed to be a difference. When you get home, you post now for real. You supposed to feel like this is my sanctity. This is my environment. You know what I'm saying? This is, you come home, everything look tripped, stuff is all over the place, and it's like, wow, I could have went to the gym, it'd have been cleaner. You know, but then it's a problem. It's weird. It's super weird. And I'm sure it was women who was on the same timing back then too. I'm sure it was. No, they don't. No, they don't. A lot of them don't. A lot of them don't know how to. A lot of them don't know how to be women. A lot of them don't. And I've learned that sometimes it's not even because they don't know how to. It's just because they've been programmed and they feel like, I don't have to be what you want me to be. You're trying to control me. I feel like they feel like that. I don't have to be what you want me to be because you're trying to control me. And if I be a good woman to you, that's you controlling me. That's you telling me who I need to be. And I don't have to do that. That is wild. That is the craziest thing ever. I always say this too. I say there's power in submission. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like when a woman submits to a man, there's something in him this is how you know if this is a good dude or not. When you submit to him, something in him is supposed to break, and he's supposed to become softer towards you in your submission. And if not, then that's a clear understanding that that's not the dude that you're supposed to. You respecting the man, talking to him, you know, the way that you're supposed to, and interacting with him the way that you're supposed to interact with him, and this dude is still wilding on you, you don't need to be with that dude. You don't. Now, two things. I won't say that. Two things. There's something going on in the background, right? That he just doesn't feel, maybe he doesn't want to talk to you about it at that time, or something is causing him to react that way. And you can still make the choice. You can say, hey, you need to learn how to better address the things you're going through. And I don't want to be a punching bag, and I don't want to sit here while you learn to deal with your emotions correctly. So, you know, I'm going to choose to walk away. But if it's not that, and he just doesn't want to, you know, then you know that he don't know how to respond to a woman being a woman. Because I know, at least, you know, for me, when you getting, I don't want to say love bombed, but when a woman's in her femininity, that breaks you down. It's attractive. It breaks you down when she know how to, you know, do what she's supposed to do. It make you address yourself. You know, it make you address yourself. It make you say, how am I being? Like, dang, she's taking care of all her business. Like, she's doing what she's supposed to be doing. She knows this is what I like. She knows she got everything folded clean, smelling good. She's smelling good. Food going, dang, okay. It's time for me to step up. And the people around you will tell you that too. They'll hit you with you know you got a good girl, right? You know she take care of her business, right? All right, bro, you gonna mess up. All right, bro, she gonna slide on you. That'll be more common occurrence. But I see more, man, and maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just what gets highlighted. You know, maybe that's just what get highlighted. Maybe it's maybe just because that's what the algorithm pushes out. So I don't know. Maybe there is like functional relationships, like how families do the YouTube thing. Maybe there are functional families on YouTube that are healthy, but that the algorithm just don't push because that's not what is a part of the whatever the agenda is for there to be a healthy black families. I don't know. Maybe that's the case. Maybe there are families here in the United States, or just period, who are showing like functionality and showing what healthy relationships are supposed to look like, right? And maybe it's just that they're not getting pushed by the algorithm. And I'm gonna just maybe that's true, you know. But whatever the case, I don't know. I just felt like popping on here and just, you know, speaking my mind about that, because I feel like that's a common occurrence. That's regular stuff now. That's regular stuff. That's super regular stuff. And I feel like more than you don't see it, it's more regular than it's not regular. I feel like that used to be an irregularity. I know when I was growing up and we used to go to school, Like when a girl would like wear like those little hoochie mama shorts or whatever, we call them Daisy dudes. They just regular. That's just Monday nowadays. That's just a Monday outfit now. It was different. Like it wasn't like the regular. And I'm not saying how a woman should or shouldn't dress. I feel like you know what's you know what I mean? As a person, you know when something is like you going a little too far or whatever. Nobody has to tell you that unless you deprogram yourself. But there was a different regularity now than it is nowadays. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing left to the imagination, I should say. There's nothing left to the imagination. So maybe this was the natural flow of things, because once you destroy the aesthetic of a woman, there's nothing else left but what's on the inside that makes you a woman. And then once you do away with that, then there is no woman. It isn't, right? And I feel like as a woman, it should make you mad as a woman to see that. You should want to like buck against the system and say, I know that's what's regular, but I'm not regular. Every female say that. I'm not the regular female. I'm not your average female. But like if you do everything that's average, yes you are, ma'am. You're regular. You are as regular as chicken with no seasoning. It sucks to say it, but hey, if you doing what's regular, you're regular. And I feel like at some point it was irregular to where like to dress more revealing and to be more promiscuous. That was rebellious at one time. But to be regular, to be irregular now is to be what regular was 30 years ago. So to be different now is to exactly facts. It's to go against the system. So if you call yourself trying to be different, then you're gonna have to be regular, right? So it sounds crazy, but what regular was like in the 50s and 60s, that's what would be different today. And what different was in the 50s, well, I won't say the 60s because the 60s was like hippies, but the 40s and 50s, what was regular then would be different now. That would be completely different now. That's how you be different. Being classy, dressing classy, talking appropriately, being appropriate, knowing how to address the person that you're talking to, knowing how to present yourself in public. That's being classy. If when I watch old movies, I watch the movies and I see how the women would address other women and how they would be in public and just how they would conduct themselves. Everything was different. I heard somebody on the internet talk about the bonnets. Now, respectfully, I think to each his own. But they talked about how, like in my grandmother's day, you would never see none of them outside with no bonnet on. They would, if like they came to the door with if they came to the door, and they could have had like their gown on, their nightgown on, they hurry up and do like this, and they would say, oh, excuse me, like that. That's normal. That's normal. I see sometimes girls be wearing shorts, the booty cheek coming all the way out the short. I'm like, man, what did you put this short on for? At this point, the shorts is wearing you. It's not even you. You're not doing nothing. You might listen. You wasting your money on fabric. But it's just a change. Facts. It's just a change that you see is very apparent, and it lowers what your expectation of what you should look for in a woman should be all a while. Like I be trying to tell my son this, but it's like, dang, like my little droplet of information is being overwhelmed by this tsunami of madness. It's like how do you try to explain that besides putting on old movies and you know what I'm saying, and trying to explain what it is that you're saying through like maybe a documentary or something like that. But it's like it makes you feel like maybe I'm crazy for even expecting this. Am I wild for expecting this? Am I tripping? It's like you were in the twilight zone and make you feel like that. Like, dang, maybe the sheer fact that I'm even expecting to find this level of respect or whatever the case might be, maybe I'm bugging for even expecting that in the first place. And that's just trib, man. That's just trib, bro. Man, it gotta be some type of like line in the sand, bro. It's something's gotta be where it's like, okay, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? That's gotta be enough. And to me, it seems like it's about control. It's not even about being treated equally no more. That was the first siren that was sounded. Us as women, we want to be treated equally. But you can't be treated equally because a man is not equal to a woman. Like a man can't use a tampon. Like a man can't, like, it's just not the same. And it like it's just, anatomically it's incorrect. I'm just being real, not like biased, because some dudes probably do use them when they go through what they go through to become a woman. But I'm just saying, on like on a normal level and every day, you know what I'm saying, this is what is reality, is that there are privileges afforded to women that men don't have. And I'm saying, not saying whether it's wrong or right, I'm just saying that it's true. You get what I'm saying? It's true. If you're a man with a woman, you're expected to be the protector because you're the man. Why? Because you're expected to be the stronger vessel. That's just facts. Unless you get some German woman, Broom Helga, who bench presses as much as you weigh, is different. You get what I'm saying? But that is what is expected of you. As a man, you're told all this stuff. That's where the phrase "be a man" came from. So what are you telling me to be while telling me to be a man? You're not telling me to be feminine. Obviously, if you're saying be a man, you would have said be a woman. So, like, I know today all of these gender roles, they call them, are being eradicated, but that's where these sayings come from. So what does it mean to be a woman? What does that mean? What is the definition? And I see a lot of people ask that, and that's the one question that they have all the time is, what is a woman? I hear a lot of people ask that. What is a woman? Or they'll say, what is a man? And you get all these variations of answers and whatever the case might be. But I don't know. When you get into it, I feel like it's pretty clear cut. When you actually get into it, it's pretty clear cut. You can't go wrong with it. And that's just, I don't know. It's just food for thought. And like, I don't know. I was seeing that, and I actually watched the battle that Remy Ma was at when Geechee Gotti was on her top, and it really made me think. I'm like, dang, bro, like, I heard what Geechee Gotti was saying, and and I'm like, dang, that's kind of true. It is kind of true. It is kind of true. That could destroy your brand. Your brand was, that's what he was saying. Your brand was based off your relationship. And like, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like when you're in a relationship with somebody, you guys are supposed to help each other grow. I shouldn't have a business. If I'm with somebody, I shouldn't have a business that you don't support, because in supporting that business, you're supporting yourself, especially when you're married, especially if the business was the inception of the business was after you got married. You're going to directly benefit from whatever. You're going to benefit from any financial progression that is made in that business. Any gain that's made in that business, you're going to benefit from it. So that's weird. Like, if I build a business and it sells for $20 million, you're going to have your hand out, but you don't want to do no paperwork. You don't want to push the brand. You don't want to get online and push the brand. You don't want to help with the footwork. You don't want to hold me up. You're not praying for our business or meditating or whatever you do. You're not giving good affirmations or whatever it is that a person might be into, but you just want to collect the reward. You don't want to do no work. And I feel like that plays into the relationship too. You just want a good relationship without putting no work in. You want an internet relationship where it's like you looking at pictures and the couple is on the couch and they got snacks all around them, or it's a quick 15-second video of a couple at a restaurant. She's dressed all pretty and he's dressed all fly. Yeah, but what happens when the camera's off? Like, that's what had to happen for them to get to that point? What understanding had to happen for them to even get to that point to where they can go sit down? And because a lot of time it's not a deal breaker. A lot of time it's just compromise. That's all it is. You get what I'm saying? If I don't want you to wear a certain thing, but you don't feel like it's a problem with wearing it, and it's really not a matter of safety, it's just a matter of comfortability, then there should be some compromise that's adhered to. Well, okay, well, so what don't you have a problem with me wearing? Okay, well, such and such and such and such. Well, why do you have a problem with me wearing this? Well, I have a problem with you wearing this because such and such and such and such. Okay, so what would make you feel comfortable for me to do to make you feel comfortable, right? There's none of that nowadays. It's just a straight, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. And as the rib, you're not supposed to be trampled over. It just means that, you know, you're a byproduct of the man that you're with. And I don't feel like there's no problem with that. I feel like there's power in that. That's where the power comes from, is understanding that. And when your man understands that you understand that, there's power in that. There's power in that. I haven't seen today is a crazy time in the world. That's why I be trying to talk to the kids and tell the chicks, like, y'all better be careful. These men ain't men in how they used to men. So you could go ahead and talk wild to these dudes if you want to. I seen a video on Facebook of a dude who just shot his girl with the baby there. And then he tried to do his own self in, and the situation didn't go. So it's like, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. And you know, I don't know. I just thought I'd pop on here and just get some of my thoughts out real quick. And, you know, appreciate you for listening to my thoughts. You know, peace, love, and Afro pics. Be smooth.